Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. This will be another video for the hometown crowd. You know, when they started this big civilian disarmament push several years ago with the magazine bans and then the assault weapon bans and the crackdowns on the FFL industry and all that, a lot of us surmised that they were doing everything humanly possible to drive the FFL industry out of business in this state entirely, thus precluding you from ever truly being able to exercise what is supposed to be an inalienable constitutional right. Well, it appears that we may have some data on that, according to the ATF, and it appears that Washington's plan is working, which may make the folks down in Olympia real happy, but it should make all of you incredibly scared. So today, let's spend a few minutes. Let's go over the data and let's talk about how Washington is slowly killing its FFL industry. Yeah, the video is sponsored by Taylor Freelance. Okay, you guys realize that YouTube is gonna just absolutely squish this video, right? All right, here we go. Hey everybody, this video is brought to us by our good friends at Taylor Freelance. We would normally start showing all sorts of cool stuff that they make here, but according to the new YouTube policies, we will be demonetized if we do so. So you know the stuff they're making has gotta be pretty good. Hey, listen, here's the deal. American made, right there in Bellingham, Washington. They won't make your firearm, but they will make your firearm a lot better. So for more information, go ahead and click on my partner page right there. And once you're there, click on the Taylor Freelance link to see all the fantastic items that they can bring to you. For more information, go to my partner page. Okay, America, listen, if you don't have to deal with the kind of crap that we're having to deal with here in Washington State right now, pay attention, because if you're not careful, it ends up on your front porch also. I'm talking about magazine bans, assault weapon bans, and then all sorts of new restrictions that were placed on the FFL industry over the course of about 3 to 4 legislative sessions, clearly with the purpose in mind to run the FFL industry across the board out of business in the state of Washington. Now, credit for today's video actually goes to Tom over at Security Gun Club. He's the one that actually geeked out on the data and then shared it with me. The geek out session that he had, we're gonna link up down below so that you too can go through ATF's data to see that we're not full of it here, okay? What am I talking about? Well, with the website that's linked up down below in the description box, you can go through and you can take a look at how many active FFLs, depending on what type of FFL they are active in each state on each given month in each given year. And therefore, if you just kind of look at trends, you can see whether or not the number of FFLs are going up or they're going down. And Washington, guess which direction we're trending? That's right, here it is right here. Now, understand that there are multiple types of FFLs that you can get, and it's an exhaustive list. It's right here, and again, we'll link it up down below. What we're going to predominantly be focusing on is Type 1. Why is Type 1? Well, because that's the one you most frequently are going to deal with. A Type 1 FFL is a dealer in firearms other than destructive devices, and it includes gunsmiths. But if we take a look at some of the other types of FFLs out there, for example, Type 2, pawnbrokers; Type 3, collector of curios and relics; Type 6, manufacturer of ammunition for firearms; Type 7, manufacturer of firearms other than destructive devices. And the list goes on and on. You see that there is a massive and consistent trend in Washington State. Consider this. Let's talk about the Type 1 FFLs, because that's the retail operations that most of us will actually routinely do business with. Now, according to ATF data, in January of 2023, there were 885 of them statewide. By January of 2024, there was only 810. By January of 2025, there was only 729. And now, after July of 2025, there's only 691. But again, if you take a look at all the other types of FFL, you do see a depreciation in value there as well. Not as severe or steep as we're seeing in Type 1, but absolutely positively, the legislative crunch that's been placed on this industry has added astronomical cost to the operations and deprived these businesses of revenue opportunities, all clearly designed to run them out of business. And the kind of example that I use when people are trying to understand what we have done to the FFLs, I want you to imagine your grocery store that has 15 aisles. Now, the grocery store has to pay for the overhead of that whole operation. All the electricity, all the water, all the employees, the insurance, the whole bit. They got a huge amount of overhead, okay? Now, if you walked into that grocery store and you told them that items 10 through 15 can no longer be sold, but you're going to have exactly the same overhead, the exact same number of employees, and as a matter of fact, we're going to pass extra laws that are even going to increase their costs. You could understand that if you are a company operating on a thin profit margin, which is oftentimes the case, even with successful FFLs, it does not take much to make one of these companies insolvent. And listen, where this is going to affect people the most is over in eastern Washington and other parts of rural Washington state, because we have small independent FFLs that are barely getting by. We've done everything humanly possible to crush them as a business. You will start seeing many of them close, and then we're going to end up with what I call Second Amendment deserts, where there is literally parts of the state of Washington where you were looking 50, 70 miles driving each direction in order to actually visit an FFL or a gunsmith. Recently, as you recall, House Bill 2118, which was passed during the 23-24 legislative session, went into effect July 1st of this year. I work privately with many FFLs in bringing them into compliance, and I can assure you that each and every one of them spent thousands and thousands of dollars to bring themselves into compliance with a law that will do absolutely nothing to deter crime. So at the end of the day, Washington, has your state legislature started successfully putting a chokehold on an entire industry? Yeah, they have. It's the FFL industry. And mark my words, next year when we visit this again, and the year after and the year after, unless there is a reverse of course, unless the United States Department of Justice steps in, unless the United States Supreme Court steps in and shows that they actually have a spine, this industry is sitting on the endangered species list. Okay, I want to thank Tom over at Security Gun Club for bringing this to our attention. Again, we're going to link up the ATF site down below so you can get in there and geek out on it for yourself. You can check out what's going on in other states as well. If you got any questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington gun law by now. But if you don't, that's okay. That information's down there in the description box. If you got an idea for a video we should be doing around here, cool. Click on that link right there and tell us all about it. If you want to subscribe to the monthly newsletter, the ability to do that is down there in the description box. And then finally, and most importantly, let's everybody remember that part of being a lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.